What's up, y'all? Welcome to the channel. This is our February wrap up. Time to wrap a couple things up, kind of let y'all know how our month went, right?
Yeah, man. That was me wrapping my hand, like all the things.
Like wrapping it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just wrapping up. Or like you wrap up burgers and stuff. I don't know. I'm wild. Go ahead.
All right. So we're gonna kick off with a couple books that we got through this month. Move to TV shows and movies, and then end it off with some video games, right?
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right. So what's the first book we read, bro?
First book. This is gonna be short. Y'all may or may not have saw our review on it.
Yeah.
Ice Planet Barbarians. We did our first premiere review too. Actually did pretty well.
Yeah.
So I mean, off that, the strength of it doing well, Q might read some more, and then I might just hop in with some funny faces and whatnot. But no, we ventured out deeper into the smut territory of reading. Don't know how much deeper we will ever go. But yeah, we tried it. We tried it. Again, we willing to try a lot of things.
Maybe there's some A-class smut out there that y'all like. If it gets highly recommended, maybe. But I think we're done with the smut.
Yeah. So not too much more to say on that. I didn't like it. You were okay with it.
It was okay. I mean, I get that it was supposed to be this campy, fun. Next book.
Next book, though. This joint.
Black Sun.
We knocked out Black Sun. In the month of February.
Yeah. It was different take on a fantasy world, which was refreshing. I enjoyed it. I had my favorite characters.
Yes.
I really like Serapio
and Zyla. Zyla. Did you read the audiobook? You must have done the audiobook. So how did they say it? Is it Zyla?
I think it was Zyla. It was the first book I read, so I can't fully remember the name. But
yeah, those are my favorite. Yeah. Those two I really
think their story, like their arc, and like how things kind of happened between them were like very interesting.
Very good. Very good.
They were mainly on a boat. Traveling, and so I like sailor arcs. Like I like side mission sailor stories. I don't know if I could do full on.
Is that why you never mess with One Piece? Because One Piece is about
I know it's great though. Everyone says it's like amazing, so I'm gonna get into it. I'm definitely gonna check it out. But I don't know, like sailor stories are great to me. Like
bite-sized chunks.
And because like even we were just talking about it.
Red Seas Under Red Skies.
Red Seas Under Red Skies. Yep. Like that was the third or second book?
The second book.
It was the second book. And I don't know if it was my favorite one. I don't know if I like. There was things about it that was like super dope and interesting, but also kind of just like, well, no, that was good.
But this started off with a bang. It was like boom, it was like, oh hey, your eyes open. And then it kind of slowed down, but then got back upbeat again toward the end. But at first I wasn't sure how much I liked the pacing, because there's this thing with this like ever looming clock in the background, right? So there's the characters have convergence. The characters have to go places because of this thing. Like they can't stand and chill or go to here, and like they always have to keep moving. So I think that plot device, I think it was used well, because I think it kept the story moving. Even in the slower parts, you knew that they were moving towards something.
There was that intrigue of me wanting to understand what this convergence was about.
Yeah.
And there is like this like sort of romancy part in there that I enjoyed. Like I thought it was cool. I think my favorite part of the book was Serapio and Zyla.
Their relationship, them being together, their travels, their conversation, their growth. I think that was part of this. I mean, the book has a ton of colorful characters. From all the spectrum, just in every which way. Which some high points for diversity in the book. High points in that diversity in the setting, diversity in the characters. Even diversity in the focus on relationship between, mother son, their chosen religion and what they believe in, and just all the different things that those I praise on that.
Some of the other characters, like I didn't really care for them. But there was what was the son?
Narampa.
Narampa.
Yeah, she wasn't really my favorite.
Yeah, she was okay. But so if you haven't read the book, know that first chapter is a banger. And it kind of sets up the rest of the book. However, the rest of the book kind of is like slow, and then until you get closer and closer to this day of convergence, and then the day of convergence happens, and it pops like that. So it's like the beginning pops, the end pops, and then it's like, whoa, what's gonna happen next?
Yep.
So that's kind of how this book kind of flows.
All right, and the last book we knocked out this month,
Sword of Kaigen.
The Sword of Kaigen.
I'm gonna let him wrap it up because I agree with everything he has to say, but then I have like not caveats, but two things that I wish. Yeah, I got two comments on it, but I agree with everything he says. So go ahead, bro.
I love Sword of Kaigen. This joint was special to me. I think I am in a Asian influenced culture type of mode. Reading this and playing Ghost of Tsushima. But just this on its own, I really enjoyed it. I'm trying to figure out where to start. I mean,
there's a moment in the book.
There's a moment in the book
catches you
that
off
catches you off for sure.
Like, what? Really?
And just, it hits you.
Is she a woman?
ML Wong. She's a woman.
So
she does some things with the characters that you don't expect just by how you follow them, and you're like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's just like it hits you, and then from there on forward, you're like, man, like you see the fallout of what she did, and then you see other characters who you also been following like grow, but like that painful grow, you know? Like we've always talked about how growth is good, but sometimes growth can be painful. To get over things and grow and take new avenues and finally stand up for yourself and finally, you know, choose the path that you've been holding out on. And so you see characters do that.
And the thing is, she's struggling in this very traditional family, traditional society
you know,
way of thinking,
community, everybody, you know,
and as she is the woman of the house, is according to this within this family specifically, I think is very strong ties to this whole tradition, and she is all about her, you know, listening, not speaking
knowing
up,
her
not,
place,
not talking out of turn.
And you're talking about Misaki. I think that's how you say her name, Misaki. So yeah, she has one of the probably the best character arcs I've seen. Like it's just, she's so dope. Like, and I love everything about her. Her flashbacks pre this time frame. Her, you know, her being a mother and a wife, and then her being more than that afterward. You know, like her finding out like what does she need to do to not only take care of her family, but to make sure she's comfortable with how she's handling situations. You know,
it's a big ping onto like relationships, and how to overcome difficulty within relationships, how to be there for one another. It's major. It's major.
And that's not even to talk about the fantasy fighting elements. So this is like this is the best of like, you know, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you know, one of your like favorite animals, and the Ponyakas. You know,
it's got a glossary in the back.
It's got a glossary in the back that's just like
what they're saying.
The language, and
that's the other thing. Like I love books that incorporate language into it to make me learn and be kind of engrossed in what kind of what's going on in this world, in this book, and the society, and this culture.
The Susanos, the Yukino, you know, it's just you feel engulfed in it, and you're enjoying being there. Like you feel like you're walking with Misaki and the clan, and just it's so good. And the fights are amazing. So yeah, I when I was talking to Q, I gave it praise. I said this might be probably like my next favorite standalone to Taigena,
which is that's big. That's our favorite. That's our favorite.
I love Taigena. It's one of my
that's major.
It's major for me to feel that way. And it's mainly just because of like Quincy said, the risk the author takes with characters, and just some of the growth and things that happen post fallout of big events. So I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Those were the best parts of the book. Another part that I'm a big visual sound type of person, and so like I usually connect dots to other things. So one other impactful like Japanese type of thing that really put me on a long time ago, not a long time, but Kill Bill
movies.
So Kill Bill kind of like I loved Asian karate, you know, all those types of movies and things like that before, but this was the Kill Bill just, I don't know, it did something. And so there's scenes in this.
Orenishi, is that her name?
Oren Ishii. So at the end of Kill Bill, when Beatrice,
the bride,
whoever
you want to say,
was fighting Oren Ishii, there's like these extreme, like it's like Zen, but like death is near. Yeah. And so it's like
haikus in the game.
Yeah. And so like there's like this like bamboo like water thing that's like spilling out water and then filling up. It's like doo, 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 and then you hear the water fill it back up, and it's just so serene,
scenic. It's just
beautiful, and then it's like snowing when they're like, it's snowing, right? It's snowing in Kill Bill.
And she takes off her shoes. Yeah. She puts them to the side.
It's just, they're like talking, but like whispering. It's like, is that a what's the name of the dude? Yeah, you know, there's just, and it's just like the sound and the visual. It plays an important role, and she does it in this book,
right?
During the most pivotal key fight scenes.
Yes.
And it's so amazing.
That's crazy. Like you said, it gets you immersed in feeling sounds and sights and scenic just from reading the pages.
Plays on the senses really well.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to get me engrossed into this world. And I'm gonna have to agree with him that it's probably our second favorite standalone for sure. Yeah. But I have my quips.
Go ahead, hit them with the quips.
I feel like I only have 2 quips.
Does it deal with the ending?
Not the ending, but there were elements in the story that were major. Like if there were 3 major elements in the story that were kind of brought up, that's part of this story. I feel like 2 of them didn't get the justice it needed for me to feel like this was a standalone. Like it introduced characters in a way or elements in a way that was like, oh snap, so there's this other thing that's going on over there. Yeah. Oh, there's this one thing right here. Yeah. And it's like, well, what does that mean? Yeah. Like, what's gonna happen? And then it turned to a point where it felt less of a standalone and more like a prequel
to a bigger world.
Yeah, it was like she was just kind of like building this world up. And oh, by the way, I'm going to drop 2 other books over here that are like 15 years later, and I'm going to drop some books over there that's connected to this world. So then it changed from a standalone to like, well, I don't know if she's going to answer some of these things in her other like stories or whatever, but at that point it don't feel standalone to me. You know, like and that's what kind of left me like,
that's fair.
But she wrote it in a way that I wanted to know more. Like I want more. I'm hungry. And in that regard, that's great.
Yeah, and I'm I'm a person who can be super critical of open-ended endings. Yeah,
but this wasn't an open-ended ending. Though.
It was just like it left the door open though.
It left the door open to be more. But it wasn't like, it's not one of them like open-ended endings where it was like, was it a heads or tails? Is he dreaming or is
it's just more elements you would love to know about the world. Which made me.
It was just like it introduced things that was like, oh, like I really want to know what happened there, but you didn't dive into it. You're just kind of like, why introduce it if it has, it's just.
That's a good author trick though, bro. If she makes you want it. Like, come to the world, you pick the world you want to get into.
I'm gonna drop some nuggets here and there. I'm gonna write this other book, and I might answer the thing there. But it's like, do I want to read her other books just to get the 2 answers that I want for this one book? I don't know. If her other books are good, like if y'all read her books and they're just as good as this or better,
I think she has her other books are YA style books.
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of YA. Like I'll read them, but I'm not like super. Yeah. Like I'm not jumping off. You know what I'm saying? My couch to go get my next YA book. So if they are great and you all have read them, let us know.
Definitely let us
know. I want answers to those 2 because they were great. They were great elements. They were great things to be introduced into this world that I was like, yo, like why didn't you you don't have to end it, but you can't just give me like some of her chapters be like 100 pages. Like you can't just give me those couple of pages of answering that how you did and then just leave it like that. Yeah. So that's the only knock. I have.
But we will definitely be reading more M.L. Wong.
Like, yeah, M.L. Wong got me. She got me. Like I'm good. Like she can paint a picture like this in all her stories. I'm good.
Agreed. 100%. Movies and TV shows, which we watched some pretty dope things this
we did.
In the month of February. We'll start from Malcolm and Marie.
Yeah.
What you think about Malcom Marie, Q?
Malcom Marie was good. It was interesting. It was, you know, one of those great acting like moments.
Yes.
One of those like, you know, they should get, what is it, an Oscar or Academy Award or
whatever.
I don't know what
their acting abilities.
Yeah, whatever it is that actors win for.
I feel like there's
whatever
a butt
category.
coming. I feel like there's a butt coming, Q.
It had great cinematography.
I feel like there's a butt coming though.
It had great cinematography, yo.
Go
like
ahead, hit him
straight
with
up.
that butt, Q. Go ahead, hit him with that butt.
What else did I like?
Throw that butt at him, Q.
Hold on. What else did I like though? Like, the
music.
Music was great. So
good.
great music, great cinematography, great acting, great actors. I love both of them. Yeah, those were my. And there'll be more that I'll kind of bring up as he talks about what he likes. And then the butt is that it was quite boring. It was quite boring. You know, it's
did it like? Is it because it's not what you expected the movie to be about? Were you coming in expecting it to be something different?
I wasn't expecting it to be different. I mean, I kind of knew what it was off gate. Like, it's these two people, it's big, strong character pieces. They're not obviously leaving the house. It's like stuck on this, like, you know, there were moments that were extremely amazing. Like, definitely watch. There were very relatable arguments in this.
Yeah.
It just were moments that felt ranty,
yeah.
a little too ranty for me, and I was like.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I think everything you said was I co-sign 100%.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I stopped watching one of the Shonda Rhimes shows, what's the one with Olivia Pope?
Scandal.
Scandal was because of the rants.
Yeah.
The rants threw me off. Like once the daddy and Olivia would go on these like 10-minute monologues, I was like, all right, I'm out. Like, I don't need this anymore. And so they did do some like monologues that were like, some were like, oh, deep, powerful, and some of them was like, all right, bro, like you wild, like this didn't need to go on this long of a rant. Yeah. So I do agree with you on that.
My favorite parts of the movie were when they weren't talking. And it focused on them not miming, but just kind of like, you know, acting, right? Yeah. And then they did. You asked me if I enjoyed the choice of black and white, and I felt like it was important, especially as a character piece, to make sure we bring focus into the characters, but also force them to have different ways of how they frame up the characters within certain scenes. And the best framing happened when they weren't talking. The best framing happened when they were just kind of like in their head trying to figure things out. So there's key moments in there that are like super dope. So like, it's definitely a show you should watch. Yeah. It's just not a show that I wouldn't rewatch it by myself, but if someone who hadn't seen it came over my house, I would watch it with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I wouldn't call him up and be like, bruh, have you seen that movie? Oh, you gotta watch it. Like, it's not one of those either, but it's really good.
It was really good. And I agree. It was a good character piece. I especially like how you learned about the character's background through their normal conversation. Mm-hmm. Like, that was really good. But I don't have more to add. I agree with what you said. It was good. It was like, so they're arguing about something, basically. And, you know, she has this point of view, he has this point of view. And so, as they're arguing, as you argue, you know, with people in real life, like, maybe there's some type of pride or something that you don't admit things, or you try to talk around it, but then eventually the truth comes out, whether you say it or not, and they had the grace to show it without either one of them being like, I told you so. And I thought that was important and part of the story that they were trying to tell. So, I mean, there's different angles that they're going at with this film that I thought was really good. Again, I'm not going to come out and be like, oh, you got to watch that show. But, like, if you're interested in these two actors, if you enjoy character pieces, if you enjoy good cinematography and creativity. It should win awards for those things.
Yeah, then you will watch it and you will like it,
Agreed.
I think.
Agreed.
And I liked it. It's another one of them award-winning shows that I'm like, I've seen it and I'm good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so, not running this back all times. The next show we watched, All the Boys
Pt.3.
Forever, Lauren Jean Part 3.
Yeah, Part 3. Okay. So it's based off books.
Based
right?
on all three of them based on
so
books. Yes.
The third movie is following, I guess, the books. I haven't
Third book.
read
Yeah,
the
the
books.
third book.
So we're assuming it's following the third book and kind of what happens there.
Yeah.
It was a good send off, I think, to the characters.
Yep.
Laura Jean, that she's trying to figure out school. They're both planning on going to the same college, but then things don't seem like it's about to work out. So then it's like battling whether or not, can we do like a long distance thing? Laura Jean travels to New York. They all go to New York to like go on a tour. And to me, the strongest moments outside of like her being in Korea, the Korea moments were dope in the beginning, and then her being in New York were the best parts of the movie.
I agree.
I'm sure this person plays a bigger part in the books, but in the movies, minus the first movie, the older sister, they could have done without her.
I've seen a lot of people have beef with the older sister and just how she's portrayed and how she.
It's not even how she portrayed. Like what's her.
That's what I meant. Like how she's portrayed in the show, not like how the actor.
I'm sure in the book,
maybe I feel like she's only there to like either cause friction between Laura Jean or have some drama happen at the house, and it's like. And then at the end for Laura Jean to maybe come back and be like, oh, I understand. And so, there's some people here. I love the younger sister. She's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. What's her name?
Kitty. Kitty is so funny. Like, I love Kitty. But no, these were good 3 movies that me and my wife all watched. Like, I couldn't, she pushed me down the stairs and I watched them without her because she was super excited to watch them. She really enjoyed it. In her opinion, and I'll ask you this, she rates them the first one, the third one, the second one. She didn't like this. I mean, she liked the second one. She likes all of them. She didn't like the second one as much, and she liked the third one better. I think I talked to Q, and you said they just go 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
like
1, 2, 3.
So I think she felt like, and I agree with her. I think she felt the second one with the whole love triangle was really forced.
Yeah.
Like had old boy not been there, it'd just been a rough patch between her and Peter. But it's because he was there that made it look like, oh, there's gonna be something else, and it was like. But it really wasn't. It was just John with them. So I agree with her, and I think the third one, the stronger aspect of will they stay together was stronger than will they want with the boy. I think that was better.
Yeah. I think I just had bad assumptions going into the third one. Again, like I don't know if y'all have ever watched Grownish, but I would much rather them scrap the third movie and had gone off script and done a like Grownish, like her New York
TV show,
her in college, and kind of episodic, like her experience there.
Don't put it past Netflix, bro.
I'm not, but being in a relationship or trying to do a long distance relationship or whatever decision they try to make, doing it in that fashion would have been so much better. Like I would have, even if it was a movie, like a 1 or 2 hour, 2.5 hour movie, I think that would have been so much better than what this third movie was.
Netflix all about that money, but they probably came to the actors like, look, y'all trying to do a TV show, Laura Jean,
we'll throw that money at y'all.
Netflix, But overall, we enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Let's keep moving. So we also watched I Care a Lot.
So tell them about the first half of the movie, man. Like, tell them how it hooked you. Let's talk about how that movie hooked you.
So I Care a Lot. I have, as much as I had strong feelings on Planet Barbarians, I have very strong feelings on I Care a Lot. I've never seen a movie start off and hook me this well.
You got hooked before the movie.
I got hooked before the movie started because I was riding around and listening to NPR about guardianship.
Yeah,
and it's actually been a bigger target with have you watched the Britney Spears documentary?
Yeah.
So with the whole Britney Spears thing, this has been a bigger topic, just guardianship and like how well or well it is working in our society. So I was hooked at that, so I saw the premise. I was like, okay, cool. I like old girl. I think she was great in Gone Girl. The other actress in there, she was great. Peter Dinklage is amazing. He's a boss. I love him as an actor. So I was interested in the premise. I rock with the actors, and the way it started off, I was like, oh, this is good. And then it just crashed and burned. It just went from like B+ movie to A to like C- D movie.
Yeah, the writing went left field.
So left field. Like it started off really good, and then they got to this middle of the movie where it was like, okay, a pivotal thing needs to happen here, and they chose to do this, and everything after that just went down. It didn't make sense.
The problem was that it started off too serious and then got too silly.
Exactly, but that's a pretty good.
It probably should have started off silly.
Yeah.
If it was gonna get silly and end silly.
Yes.
And when we say silly, there's just things that the characters do that is just like.
Yeah.
It's like what?
There's a tone of the movie that needs to stay like. Yeah. You can't start at Gone Girl and then end with like Dude, I Lost My Car or something like that. Like,
well, the thing is, it did have silly elements in the beginning. It just wasn't as like. I think the seriousness overweighed the silliness.
Yeah, I mean, because it is a serious issue, it's a serious thing, and they played into that, and in a certain point, when you have threats, when you have violence, when you have certain elements that are looming on you, and then you get there and they're comical when they didn't seem comical in the beginning, then the validity of them just loses as the movie goes on. So it's like, okay, you're trying to do things, you're trying to stay away from these things, and then it hits and it's not as bad as it's supposed to be, and it just got silly. Like you said,
I think
the tone is just all over the place.
They were trying to make it comical yet serious at the same time. And I don't think they didn't find the right balance.
They didn't find the balance. So,
but I mean, overall, I think if you're just generally watching this and you're sitting in the house with like family or whoever, like you'll watch it and you'll be entertained. Like I'm not gonna take it away from you that you won't be entertained. It'll just be if you come in watching it and it's like you think it should go a certain way and then it switches on you like. Are these two separate movies?
Yeah, exactly. It just felt like that. And I went on Reddit and like that was the number one thing. Everybody was like, I was talking to my wife and I thought, oh, this movie about to be great. And at the end, I was like, what the heck happened with this movie?
I think the serious tone of the beginning kind of messed you up. Like if they would have went silly then serious, I think it would have been different. Yeah. But or just silly or serious or I think there's ways to be silly and serious at the same time. I just don't know if they did it.
They didn't. I don't think they did
deliver it that well.
Yeah, they didn't execute well.
Yeah. So Behind Her Eyes crept up on me. Like I seen it. Like I seen the preview for it, and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna watch this. I'm this is up my alley. This is the things I like. To get me, you have to be very. You gotta get in my head. You have to have some good mystery. You have to be visually aesthetic. Like it don't have to be, but like I love visual aesthetics. Like when you're filming something. And what else? Like, go ahead.
Don't mean to interrupt you, but so because we just came off that last joint, I'm gonna say something about this joint. Yeah. It switched its tone and and what you thought it was gonna be about, but it did it well, right?
It makes you want to rewatch it because it's one of those things where you're like, what?
Right.
And then you go back and rewatch and be like, oh.
Because in the beginning, it didn't really hint at it was going to be about this certain type of genre of a show or element, but it switches to that and you're like, what? But it did it so well, you're like, okay, you can ride with it. The tone of this, when it switched, it did it well to keep you still engulfed and keep you still in the story and still keep you wanting to go on with it. My wife started watching this. I hopped on with her the last 3 episodes, and it was so good. I watched the first episode, so I watched it like in reverse. I watched like 5. I think it was only 6 episodes.
So he got the punchline.
I did. He went back and wanted to get to the bottom of it. And I was excited because I was like, oh, that makes sense. So I watched like 3, 4, 5, or 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3. And it was good. Like I called Q. I was like, yo, you got to finish watching this. And he watched it. I was like, yo, I can't believe. There's twists, there's turns. There, the acting is good. The setting is just. It's a really good show that, you probably seen a lot of people talking about it. If you look and anybody talking like, oh, that show. It's one of the shows that deserve the hype. And it makes me, again, want to keep seeing more limited series. Yeah. I think it was limited series, right?
Yeah, it's limited series.
Yeah, so Netflix is killing the limited series. That's where they're killing it, in my opinion, with just amazing budget and actors and story. And beginning, middle, and end to make me like, oh, I want more, but I'm glad y'all ended it and that was good. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
I'm just I'm a sucker for like a great story, great. They don't call them mystery these days. It's like
thriller,
like great thriller, but also like it is a psychological thriller.
Yeah. Very much so.
And visually, like if you like I was saying this earlier, you don't have to have it, but like if you capture me visually, and have a great story and great thriller elements, like you got me. And this had it. Like it was one of those ones where you're like, you watch it and then you're very much at the end, you're like, okay, let me run it back and see where they were like trying to trick me. Or it's like rereading your favorite book. Yeah. And you're seeing all these things that, this one thing happened at the end, you're like, oh, and then you go back and you reread it and you're like, yo, they were giving us hints here and there. We never seen it. Like,
very much like that last war we read, right? Like it switched at the end, you're like, oh, okay, it makes sense. Yeah. So no, this is good. We recommend it. Highly recommend that. Yeah. That was dope. And then I finished WandaVision. You got to finish the last episode, right? I haven't
finished the last episode. The last episode came out in March, so we'll save that for March. We'll save it for March.
But WandaVision's been, probably one of the best things Disney's put its money to.
Yeah, it shows you how, like, before I wasn't sure how they were going to do like these TV shows, but now I'm fully sold.
I'm in it, yeah.
Like, it's almost like movie production TV shows.
It is.
Where they're fully committed to the MCU. They're deep diving and pulling out characters that you would have never thought they would have brought out. And it's just...
It's a geek's just, like, wet dream. Like, this is what I would hope someone put tens of millions of dollars into a show about these... what were 10, 20 years ago B-C level characters, and now they're getting shine, and it's just being done so well. I got a text from I got a group of friends who all watch it, and they were like, if you would have told me when Age of Ultron came out that I would be waking up early on a Friday morning to watch a show about Wanda and Vision, I would have laughed at you. I would have been like, get out of here. If Disney would have told me like, oh, you're gonna be on the edge of your seat on this show, I'd be like, get out of here. WandaVision. He's like, but I am. And everybody's like, oh, here I am. It's like, now.
And then now we jumping into March, and it's going to be Falcon
and Winter Soldier. And I'm in there. So they could put a show about a dog that was in 2 Marvel comics, and I'll be like, oh, I'm in there. I'm watching. Because they have the formula together. They are the Chick-fil-A.
It looks like the movies, but
TV show. It's what it is.
That's it.
Your favorite Marvel movie in a TV in 6 episodes. Yeah. So they're killing it. It's good. So, yeah. Cool. That's it. Video games.
So we're wrapping up Spider-Man, and we can't wrap up Ghost of Tsushima yet.
Spider-Man, and then did you play anything else?
Nah.
Okay, I played a Steamworld game, so I'll mention that. Okay. So I beat this game called Steamworld Quest. It's like this indie developer Steamworld games on Switch. Yeah. They're very fun. Little card game, like turn-based style game. It's fun. I like it. Yeah. Check out the Steamworld games. And then we beat Spider-Man Miles Morales. We beat that game.
Beat it.
And it was dope.
Thoroughly.
It was so amazing. It was great. We loved all the music.
Yes.
All the culture.
Yes.
The visuals.
Let's pause on the culture. They handled both.
2 cultures.
Yes.
Mixed them.
Yes.
And it came out something good, like chocolate and raspberry, strawberry, everything.
Your
like
best favorite combo.
Best favorite combo.
That's what this turned into.
Ice cream and apple pie. Brownie sundae. Like they mixed 2 cultures together and they did it. Great. Yeah. The visuals, the combat, the story. Just the completeness feeling that you had at the end of it. Like,
if I had to knock one thing on it, it would be that I played the first Spider-Man years ago, and they said this isn't an add-on, and it's not. It still kind of felt like an extension of that game. Like it was just that game, but Miles Morales. And so when I played the hell out of that game, and so when I came into this game, it felt the same, and things all kind of looked the same. And so where on the first Spider-Man, I wanted to like platinum be everything. This one I was like, been there, done that. I really just want to get through the story. That's my only knock on the Miles Morales.
Gotcha. So I did platinum and beat everything. And if the gameplay mechanics at a base level are the same. They are the same. So if you get tired of the base mechanics in that Spider-Man game, you get more of the same. They did add some twist on because Miles does have different powers with his invisibility, with his electricity. So they added that on top of it, which made combat a little bit more quirky, fun. In my opinion. But in my opinion, I think, and I don't think Q argument is like that's one small grain out of like a huge bag of just positives. It's overwhelmingly positive. Like if you had 15-20 hour game, play that game, play it, beat it, thoroughly enjoy it, love it. We did.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. And then like we were in the middle of playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah. So
we'll wrap that up in
that'll
March.
be in our March wrap up.
We'll
it's a
beat that.
humongous game.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's it.
Cool. Well, hey, appreciate y'all stopping by, rocking with your boys.
Hit it with an emoji. Keep what you got. First thing we're here.
I never do the emojis, man. You do the emojis.
I'm letting you pick one, man.
All right, put a spider.
Spider. Yeah. If you made it to this video, hit us with that spider emoji. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.